Hey there, viewers! Art can be the craziest thing. A person with the right creative eye can turn the most lifeless objects into something beautiful. Just wait until you see what Mexican artist Alberto Arni does with these fruits. By adding illustrations to the pictures, he gives them actual human emotions, bringing them to life. And, well, also death. Get a load of these 2 poor limes. This is what it would look like if fruits had feelings. Just look at the expressions on their faces as one holds his friend who has recently been cut in half. That's enough to make you both cringe and burst out in laughter. The same goes for this watermelon. Man, this artist has a pretty dark imagination. He's also super talented to be able to pull this off. While it might offend some, others will laugh. It all depends on your sense of humor. One thing's for sure, I won't be able to cut a watermelon for a while without this image coming to mind. All of these fruits look like they're hurting. Some seem like they're doing worse than others. I mean, this pear's literally been eaten alive. Just the look that Alberto gives the fruit's eyes captures the sheer terror that's going on. It's like a super detailed piece of animation from an adult cartoon. Even the second image from this shot is depressing. I'm not gonna eat a pear for a while. Check out this next one. It appears to be a little pumpkin, absolutely shocked at his older parents' appearance. The pumpkin seeds on the ground look like they're the older one's teeth. Why else would they be in that kind of pain? That pumpkin's dentist should expect a lawsuit any day now. If you're feeling ambitious this Halloween season, you can test your scales out and try something like this. Now, many of these images seem to depict fruits consoling each other in times of horrific pain. It's definitely a theme. Like these pears, for example. This one's had half his face peeled off. Even one of his arms has been severed. If this ever happened to me, I could only hope one of my friends would be there to provide some comfort. I mean, I've helped them through a bad night of drinking. It's the least they can do. Or how about this one? Now, I like to think I've seen quite a bit in my day, but a crying kiwi? That's a first. Just watch as it stands over its recently squashed relative. There's nothing harder than losing a loved one to a giant foot. While a lot of these are funny, some of them are seriously disturbing. Just take a look at this peach, holding his pit in his hand, as if he were clutching his own guts. It's like he ripped it out himself and is handing it to you. Disemboweled fruits seem to be a common theme with this artist. This pear has a chunk bitten out of his center, complete with dying eyes. You can even see drool hanging out the side of his mouth. Alberto seems to have something against pears. They just can't catch a break. While some fruits are experiencing pain, others seem to be inflicting it. The apple in this image really has it out for someone, as it points ahead holding a large knife. In the picture directly below, we see the apple's obvious victim as he lays on the floor in 2 separate pieces. We've all been told how apples are good for you. This one's certainly an exception. Apple slices? Anyone? If you really want an image to give you the creeps, have a peek at this guy with a chunk of his head removed. You know, one really underrated aspect of these illustrations is the placement of the fruit's arms. The artist knows exactly what to do with them. Just look how this fruit puts his hand over his brains. Gross. Or how about this poor banana, left alive even after its lower half has been sliced into several pieces? What a gruesome depiction of your banana's last moments. What I do like about this image is the detail given to its facial reactions. Scary as it is, you can almost hear its cry of pain. The mustache isn't too bad either. Before we continue, are you looking to improve your health? Check out our recent video discussing what happens to your body when you walk every day. Now back to these awesome fruit characters. Let's switch things up for a minute. Not only does Alberto have an eye for horrific fruit tragedies, he can also transform foods into your favorite TV characters. This pineapple here appears to be Goku from Dragon Ball Z, as he goes into Super Saiyan mode. I'd sure love to see what he'd use for Homer Simpson or Cartman from South Park. This one's pretty hard to ignore. It seems to show a fruit reeling over the death of his friend, only to meet a similar fate himself. The two are cut up by a large knife. Bummer. This artist has no shortage of sad pictures in his catalog. This image is also pretty heavy. 2 oranges, one that's been cut in half and the other clearly terrified by what he's seeing. Again, the amazingly detailed facial expressions give all the difference. What a masterful piece of dark humor. Now, I mentioned earlier how important Alberto's detail is to the fruit's arms. Take a look at this picture, which shows what appears to be a mango having the worst day of its life. His shoulder area has been injured, with his arms hanging off. I guess he won't be using that anytime soon. Or how about our next image? Someone certainly had it out for this apple. Notice the undeniable pain in his eyes as both his arms lay on the ground stuck to 2 giant apple slices. He's likely praying to be eaten and put out of his misery. The next image is one of my favorites of the bunch. It looks like a family of grapes, 2 sliced in half, while the other watches in horror as they're left hanging by the root. What's worse is that these dead grapes have just been left there. I mean, what a waste of good grapes. I tell ya, these images will have you thinking twice before you put fruit in your mouth again. Get a taste of this one! A chunky green fruit that's just been cut in half. What's extra gross about it is that you can see its core poking out, which I guess is supposed to be its guts. Bon appetit! In certain pictures, the message isn't exactly clear. For this one, it seems as if the fruit is accepting their fate and waiting for it to all be over. Either that or he's already gone. The life of a fruit isn't one that I want. This image is also pretty questionable. A peach has been cut in half right down the middle. Is it already dead? Its facial expressions suggest that it's fairly unenthused by what's happening, almost as if it's a normal occurrence. But I'm gonna have to go with my first guess. The peach is already gone. The placement of his right hand looks rather lifeless, not to mention the eye is closed on the left half. I have so many questions, but I'll dial it down to just one. What is happening here? This peach looks like it's scared for its life, as it's being taken away by a human hand. The design of its eyes, as well as the white gloves on its hands, makes it look like an actual cartoon character. He's also wearing a small hat. Wait, is that supposed to be a child peach? The life of a fruit! I tell ya, the life of a fruit. Did you enjoy this video? Are you interested in trying something similar? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. Enjoyed this video? Hit like, share, and subscribe to What the Facts. Wait, why don't you fact off with these other awesome videos? Go ahead, choose the left or right video and enjoy.